think it was The Choice. When I was really, really little, I was born. I had intelligence. I had a thirst, a need to figure shit out. I read that they say it's a why. It's not. No. It's more than that, because why is just to me it just seems one dimensional, and it's more of like a how, um, and then why, I guess. But I always had that as far back as I can, and I had and I enjoyed interacting with people because I enjoyed watching them, how they took what I was doing. Because I watched people just interact with other shit, but I couldn't control the the interaction. Like I had no control. It was just I could just be a passive viewer. I think once I started figuring out to engage people, even if it meant being completely silly, because then I could get a benchmark of what they fucking viewed as completely fucking silly. And as long as I just was aware, and because I felt weird, because I don't know that I've ever really talked or had anybody that just like, it always, it's the, it always seemed like I was different in a bad way. So anyway, I think with my need to figure out how and then why, mixed with my, at least at the time I believed it was real interpretations of what I saw around me and whatnot, and my consistent just trying, literally evolution. At the time, which was crazy, I was being taught that evolution was insane and made no sense. And I was evolving because I was constantly refining everything I did. So every time somebody fucked with me, because of my need to find out how and then why, and then my need to then overcome, to best it, to make it mine, to not be at the mercy of anything. I think that the mix of me being openly different instead of me being reserved and overly private and lost in my own shadow, the fact that I consistently went for information that might explain this or might explain that, and then my absolute fucking thirst with everything I learned, I became more thirsty because I understood more. And then with all the shit going on at home and all the shit going on at school and all this just confusion, and I built my foundation on absolutely incorrect information. And that is where my unsureness and my anxiety started to grow, and my feeling of being absolutely different. But I was still passive. And then I moved schools, and people around me were no longer cult-like and timid. They were lower class, brazen, cocky, and I studied that, and I was introduced to so many other things, which just gave me more things to then learn about and more things to try to see how people reacted. And I learned that people didn't want me to be smart. They wanted me to be weird. And then I got hit in the head with a fucking basketball, and my glasses came off, and I hit somebody for the first time in my life. And I remember I remember thinking, I'm gonna fucking own you, and everything came clear. Oh yeah, I skipped the whole molesting part because, that I remember it, and I remember watching, and the faces, and that's why I felt so fucking different. Because the faces that they made matched so much with the faces that people made when I did something they didn't understand. And then I found alcohol. And I found what I could do with it. And what I could hide behind with it. And how because I understood how it was working with me, I assumed that I just assumed so much. I just assumed so much. I felt crazy bad for feeling crazy special. I felt talented. But I had no idea. But see, the more I think about it, it wasn't. It was the continued evolution. And then at every stage, I remember the things that changed me. And they just happened. There was no gradual nothing. And all my sayings, my parents would say that nothing would bother me and that I would just will myself to not care, will myself to not feel, will myself to push through. There's just so much. There's just so much. There's just so much. I feel narcissistic. And I get told that I'm narcissistic because apparently the way that I would just quickly answer people's questions and I would be sure of my answers and I would be firm and I would be assertive. I can see now why people would interpret that as fuck cocky narcissism based on what the fuck they think and how they view things. But I wasn't. And it fucked with me. And it was almost like shut me down. It was almost as if how like the Republicans or the conservatives talked about how Black Lives Matter was an insurrection at the Capitol, or how when they had to sit in for other shit at the that was an insurrection. How it waters down the meaning of it, how it gaslights you and makes you doubt. I spent my life absolutely gaslit. Absolutely. And then even when I thought I was overcoming the gaslighting, I had no understanding of the depth of the fucking gaslighting. The fact that it wasn't purposeful gaslighting, the further down I got. And that I lost the maliciousness from others, so I didn't think about it. I didn't see a motive for people to make this shit up. So I built everything on the wrong. I built it all wrong. So everything I thought about myself, I viewed through other people's eyes. So I'd say things and I'd apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be pushy. I'm not trying to act like, no. By all means, I don't know. I think above all, the fact that I now kind of understand more, and I understand what others are operating with. So many of my fights were because why the fuck were people choosing not to see? Why were people choosing to interpret what I was doing from only one facet? It must be willful. It must be purposeful. You must have a motive to box me into that particular meaning of it. Because of course you see everything. Of course you do. I have no way. And the last few years, and then recently as I get closer to the answers, I get closer to better questions. And then I know what to focus more on. And I get more payoff to understand. And then crazily enough, I think back to the times. This is how it starts. I first think in the moment of thinking, when would this information have changed, or in my past, what would I have learned from a situation if I would have understood this? In that moment, I see that situation, and it's not 3D 4K. It's more because I feel it. And I sure can move around in certain cases and manipulate, but I'm there, but I'm there. There's no, it feels like there's no separation. Just no separation. I'm in both. And I can reevaluate the situation. This is insane. I can reevaluate the situation. And then I can go to the next memorable moment in this vein of thought. And I then can adjust. I can keyframe my fucking brain, and that's what it is. I'm keyframing memories. I'm adjusting after the fact, just like I do all my stories, all my videos. I build it in reverse. I have no idea what anything is ever. It just all works in a way that I then direct it because I see them. That's why I like the 360, because I know where to look in it. I don't have a laser focus. I don't feel crazy anymore. But I feel really alone, because I used to think, I used to know, this is the frustration too, this is the fight. I used to know that if I could just, why do you think I found my answers? I wanted my answers. Fucking crying shit. I wanted my answers so that I could know how to apply it to others. I still want my answers so I can know how to apply it to others, because I've seen progress with people. I've seen so much progress with Caitlin. It's crazy. And she doesn't know it. She doesn't see it. She still's afraid. But that's okay. Because that makes you. That gives you the reason. I don't know what happened to humanity's want. No qualifiers. I don't know. I think it seems like they all want more. Like a thirsty, never-ending wanter. But it's like they're eating ice. Dirty ice, dishwater ice, sewage ice. But not even chunks of shit. Just like the frozen sewage liquid. So they don't really get anything out of it. They crunch on it. It feels huge in their fucking, in their mouth. They've allowed themselves to interpret that nasty fucking foul sewage as what it is the good. They've just been hijacked. So I want to figure it out. Or not. But I want to try. I don't try. I don't see why it won't. I feel grounded. I know it's real. And that's fucking mind-blowing. Because all of the things that I remember in my life that were 1 in a billion, somehow ending up out of a car that people are fucked up in, that they needed the Jaws to get the people out. Getting hit by lightning and not having any issues because I work on it. It's because I see it. I saw it. I knew. I saw falling into a ship and somehow getting my boot stuck between 2 fucking pipes, and I had only seen any diagrams of this area like one time, and knowing where to climb up and remembering where I climbed up, that I climbed up the pipes when I came to. Complete sludge, complete blackness. And I crawled a ways, and then I got off on the left on a ledge, and then I followed that forward, and then that led to a fucking ladder, which led 2 floors up, or no, quite a few floors up. And then a manhole, and then offshot, and then ambulance, as I joked with the first mate about it's okay, I'll hopefully see him again. And then I go to the hospital, and then they dope me, and I wake up with the insurance person for workman's comp wanting to piss test, and I crack jokes with him. And then I go back to the halfway house in a hobble, and I remember just how relaxed I was about it, because it didn't surprise me. I can't go day by day, minute by minute yet, all the time. But I really think that the reason I can't is that so far what I have focused my head on, it just kind of seems easy to look around. Anyways, I wish I could say I was scared. I feel like that would be appropriate. But I'm excited. No matter what. It'll be something cool to tell somebody about. Now my nose is crying. What the fuck? Oh, no, that was just food. I don't want to be too much for people, but I don't know how to stop. And there's a hole in my dam, and the water's coming out, and it's not possible to stop it. Have a good night, buddy. Yeah, I did just like you said. Yeah, just I messed up. I didn't understand a couple of the words. Yeah, next time I'll do better. We don't got to use this copy.